For this lesson, we are going to take a look at fraction word problems. Don't be scared just by hearing word problems. We're going to break it down so it's a little bit easier to do. So first off, we are giving you some key words here for division. Quotient, each, split, into, group, breaking it, having a question like how many will fit into. That's the same idea as like splitting something up, or one. So our steps to solving word problems. Anytime we have word problems, we always want to highlight that operation, the words that determine that operation. Then we're going to identify key information. And we want to do that by circling numerical or numbers, numerical values that are given to us. We'll determine what the total is. That's going to be the first number in our division problem, and determine what number represents each part, the part that's being divided. This is going to be the second number in your division problem. So it's going to be the total divided by the part. And a lot of times you're going to see something like each or any of these keywords up here. If that's in the same sentence or that same spot where we have the part, that's what it's going to represent. So let's look at problem number 1. A box of snack-sized cracker packs weighs 28.5 ounces. So as soon as I see that number, I'm going to circle it. One snack pack weighs 4 3/4 ounces. How many snack packs are in the box? So our unknown is how many snack packs are in the box. I'm looking for keywords here. The keyword that I see is 1. So one snack pack weighs 4 3/4 ounces. And if you remember, I said the part, that keyword is going to tell you the part. So that's the second number. That's what we're dividing by. So in my division problem, that means our total amount in the box is 28.5. So our total is 28.5 divided by the part, that 1, that is 4 3/4 ounces. So we set up our problem. Now we're doing the same stuff that we did in lesson 4. I'm going to first make these into mixed numbers. 28 times 2. Well, 28 times 2 is not in our multiplication chart. So on the side, if I need to, I can multiply. 8 times 2 is 16. Carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4. Plus 1 is 5. So 28 times 2 is 56. Plus 1 is going to be 57 over that original denominator of 1. So this is our first step here, right? We're still keeping the division, converting this into a improper fraction. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 plus 3 is 19 over that original denominator of 4. Now that they're improper fractions, we can keep it, switch it, flip it. So for part 2, we are keeping it as 57 over 2. I'm switching it from division to multiplication. I'm flipping it from 19 over 4 to 4 over 19. And now that we have them set up as fractions, I'm going to highlight those diagonals so I can simplify before I solve. So I'm setting up my blank proportion here, or my blank fractions. Let's look at that first diagonal. 4 and 2. The GCF, the highest number that they both divide by, is 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Our other diagonal, 57 and 19. Well, those aren't as common numbers that you usually see. Let's check our factor chart. So 19 up here divides by 1 and 19. And 57 divides by 1, but it also divides by 19. So their GCF is 19. So 19 divided by itself is just going to be 1. 57 divided by 19, if we look back at that factor chart, the 19 pairs up with 3. So 57 divided by 19 is 3. And now we can multiply across. 3 times 2 is 6 over 1 times 1 is 1. And 6 over 1 is just 6. What were we solving for? How many snack packs are in the box? So 6 snack packs. Always want to include units when we are looking at word problems. All right, number 2. The soccer team has 16 and a half, going to circle that right away, 16 and a half boxes of wrapping paper to sell. If each of the 12 players sells the same amount, how many boxes should each player sell? So, key word that I see in here is each. That's telling me this is a division problem. So I know I'm dividing, got to figure out my total and my part. So one thing I said is that key word is going to be where the part is. So 12 is our part. And what does the total soccer team have? The soccer team has a total of 16 and a half. So our total amount is 16 and a half. Our part is 12. First thing we need to do is make these improper. So 16 times 2 is 32. 32 plus 1 is 33 over 2. Not trying to skip steps, so I'm keeping it as division. 12 is not a fraction. We need to write that over 1. So we're writing that as 12 over 1 to make it a fraction. Now I can keep it, switch it, flip it for step 2. So keeping our first number, 33 over 2. Switching our operation from division to multiplication. Flipping our second number from 12 over 1 to 1 over 12. Now I can highlight those diagonals to simplify. So for step 3, while we're simplifying, first diagonal I'm going to look at is that pink diagonal, 2 and 1. The highest number they both divide by is just 1, because 1 only divides by 1. So 1 divided by 1, that top right stays 1. 2 divided by 1, bottom left stays 2. 12 and 33, I'm going to look at my factor chart. So 33 divides by 1, 3, 11, and 33. 12 divides by 1, 3, and that's it. So 3 is the highest number they both divide by. 33 divided by 3, the 3 matches with 11. 12 divided by 3, the 3 matches with 4. Now, we just multiply across. 11 times 1 is 11. 2 times 4 is 8. So that is our answer, 11/8. What were we solving for? How many boxes each player should sell. So 11/8 boxes. And if it makes more sense for you to turn that into a mixed number of 1 3/8 boxes, you can. One more problem. The length of a mirror is 6 2/3 feet long. A border will be placed along the mirror. If the border is split into strips that are 1 2/3 feet long, how many strips of the border are needed? So first thing, let's look for that key word. The key word that I see is split and into. Both of those are words that tell you division. So we've split it into, we've divided it up. Now, we know it's a division problem. The total length of the mirror is 6 2/3. So that's what we're starting with. That's our total. we are dividing it into strips that are 1 2/3. We've got our problem set up. Now we can make them improper fractions for our first step. So 6 times 3 is 18. 18 plus 2 is 20 over 3. Divided by 1 times 3 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5 over 3. Now that they're fractions, step 2, we can keep it, switch it, flip it. So keeping that first number as 20 over 3, switching it from division to multiplication, flipping it from 5 over 3 to 3 over 5. Now let's highlight those diagonals to simplify. Let's look at the pink diagonal first. 3 and 3, those are the exact same number. I can just divide them by themselves. 3 divided by 3 becomes 1. And on the bottom left, 3 divided by 3 becomes 1. 20 and 5, both divide by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 20 divided by 5 is 4. Now we can just multiply across. 4 times 1 is 4, over 1 times 1 is 1, which 4 over 1 is just 4. And what were we solving for? How many strips of border? So 4 strips are needed. And that's it.